In today's session of Divorce Court, Crystal Remick says Stephen wrecked their marriage when he wrecked her truck.
I love this truck. This truck was my baby. I named my son after that truck. My son's name is Dakota.
But he says she's to blame.
She says she loved the truck more than me. All I ever got out of this marriage was nagging, nitpicking. I got racial slurs, Your Honor.
Oh, no, she didn't do that.
I have curly hair. Therefore, I'm the N-word, Your Honor.
No.
I was insulting him because we were upset. And when you are upset, you say things that you don't necessarily mean. And that is the truth.
Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm very upset. And everything that's about to come out of my mouth, I mean it.
Today, it's the case of Crystal Remick versus Stephen Remick in this session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Stephen Remick versus Crystal Remick. And I'm advised that after 2.5 years of marriage, Mrs. Remick, you're ready for a divorce?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
In 2.5 years. You can't last any longer than that?
No.
Why?
Not at all. It's due to the fact of his stupidity, his immaturity. For example, I had a 1994 Dodge Dakota, which I worked for. I was 15 and a half. I saved up $1,500, gave the down payment to my parents. My parents signed for the vehicle. It was a vehicle I paid for I paid $500 a month for this vehicle. 16-year-old, working in some fast food place, making a $500 a month payment. Yeah, I loved this truck.
That was your whole check, wasn't it?
It was the entire check. That was my insurance and my payment. I paid everything for this truck. When the truck was in a wreck, I repaired it myself. $1,300 to body work, I paid for it. My truck's license plate.
You mean you repaired it in the sense that you did the actual automotive repairs?
People taught me how to do these things.
Wow,
I had
you're
other
an
people
amazing
fix
woman.
them. I tried for this truck. I loved this truck. My truck said CJ's baby on it. This truck was my baby. I put all my effort into it, all my time into it. I loved this truck.
So then what happened to this truck?
It was totaled. He totaled the truck due to him driving at 75 miles an hour in rain and sleet, which is just stupidity right there.
And so what is his immaturity?
His immaturity is just due with money. He has a child. We have a child together. In fact,
Your Honor,
I named my son Dakota.
You really
That's how
in love
much
with
I
this truck.
love that truck.
Oh my goodness, that's an obsession, right?
That's an obsession. That's how much I cared about this vehicle. That's how much time I put into this vehicle.
All I ever got out of this marriage was nagging, nitpicking. I got racial slurs, Your Honor. And
racial slurs?
Yes, what I mean by that is I have curly hair. Therefore, I'm the N-word, Your Honor. I
like
to play basketball.
Didn't do that because of your curly hair?
Because of my curly hair. Because I like to play basketball.
Wait a minute, now that made you an N-word because of curly hair? That's a real new one on me.
There were other reasons.
Because I like to play basketball, Your Honor, I'm the N-word. Because I wear loose-fitting clothes, Your Honor, I'm the N-word.
And probably because you wear bright colors too, huh?
Exactly, Your Honor. This suit, Your Honor.
I don't think it's funny. And don't you dare stand up there and laugh in my face.
He got married to me in that suit.
You just hold it. Don't you dare stand there and laugh in my face because you think that because he has curly hair, plays basketball, and what's the other one?
Loose-fitting clothes.
That makes him that negative word in reference to African Americans? Is that your concept?
Not necessarily. There are other reasons.
Well, just answer that part.
No.
Is that a negative to you because he has curly hair?
At the time it was.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And you equate that with African American?
Not necessarily.
What do you mean
That's
not
what
necessarily?
I'm
Don't start double talking on me. Talk.
I do not. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah,
here.
because it's such an idiotic statement. You can't even open your mouth to explain it.
It is an idiotic statement. I never said it wasn't, but it was something I said at that time. It doesn't necessarily reflect how I feel at this moment in time.
Yes, it does. When
no,
you open your mouth, it reflects how you feel. Out of the mouth proceeds the issues of the heart.
Not always.
That's where it comes. Yes, it does. What comes out of your mouth is what you perceive in your heart.
I was insulting him because we were upset. And when you are upset, you say things that you don't necessarily mean. And that is the truth.
Your Honor, there was
now, hold on a second. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm very upset. And everything that's about to come out of my mouth, I mean it. When you're upset, you say things that you mean because that's what you feel in your heart. But you use the fact that you're upset to cover it up.
I'm not using that
You need
fact.
to close your mouth. But you use the fact that you're upset to cover it up and to justify it. You say, oh, I only said that at that particular time because I was upset. I really didn't mean it. It's just like when people are drunk and they start to call people names and talk about them. They say what's in their heart, but they were too much of a coward to say it before the alcohol. Then the alcohol gives them the strength and the courage to say it. If you didn't believe that negativity about African Americans and you didn't believe that that would hurt him, you never would have said it. We're all one race of people made by the same God. None any better than the other because of the color of our skin. And you need to learn that and learn it quickly.
Can I say something?
No.
Finish saying what you were saying. In addition to that, the immaturity level, the truck was everything to her. She often, at times, chose the truck over me. When we first got married, Your Honor, she'd use the truck against me. She'd say, I don't feel like taking you to work today. And I couldn't take the truck from her because she threatened to call the cops all the time.
Because it was her truck.
Exactly, Your Honor, but that was our only transportation.
So how is that choosing the truck over you when she said, I'm not taking you to work? That's not choosing the truck over you.
That's my military career, Your Honor.
But what she's doing is not sharing and not choosing the truck over you. What she's saying is, I'm not willing to take you to work, and I'm not willing to help you get to work because I want you to figure out your own way to get to work.
Okay, not only that, Your Honor, but she said she loved the truck more than me. She said that often when we were fighting.
Just like she said those other things. But she probably didn't mean that either, did you? Did you mean that you love the truck more than him?
Not necessarily. I just put more time and more effort into this vehicle.
Did you mean that you love the truck more than him?
Not in that context.
That if you had to make a choice between your husband and the truck, that you choose the truck?
No.
You didn't mean that?
No. That's not how I meant
disagree.
it.
Do you say a lot of things that you don't mean?
When I'm angry or upset with somebody, yes, I do.
Well, you know what? You need to learn to control your anger and need to say what you mean and mean what you say, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter when. And you just don't throw words out there at people and say bad things and then say, oh, I take it all back when you're not upset, because that destroys a relationship. And that's not only with your husband, that's with anybody. Your friends. Say something negative, and then next week try to say, I take it back, and now we're going to start over where we were. It doesn't work like that. Watch what you say. It's very important in everything you do in life. Go on.
You know, also, she had just told you that she wouldn't take the truck over me. That is a lie, because I tried to repay that truck back with her. I got her a 98 Dodge Dakota.
You bought her a different truck? How did you total the truck?
What's that?
How did you total the truck?
I lost control of it. We started hydroplaning, Your Honor.
How did you lose control? What were you doing?
I was going fast, Your Honor.
Over the speed limit?
Yes.
And you knew that this was a vehicle. She loaned it to you, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Allowed you to drive it.
She was in the seat also, Your Honor. And
But you knew this was something that was her heart, that she really loved this truck, put a lot of time and energy into it, worked at 15 years old, paying a note of $500 a month for a truck. Adults don't do that at 25 and 40 years old.
When divorce court returns, Crystal testifies about what happened to the car she bought to replace her wrecked truck.
The car my mom had put the down payment on, he totaled that one out also.
You totaled that one too? How did you total that one, Mrs. Rimmer?
Ran a red light, Your Honor.
Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? Take your case to a new court show and be represented by a prominent attorney. Call 877-777-0099. Divorce court returns as Crystal and Stephen testify about the day her truck was totaled.
This woman sacrificed because that was something she really wanted. You didn't think enough of that and realize that, let me just treat this truck with some care because I know that it's important to her. You couldn't do that?
Yes, Your Honor, I could, but she was encouraging me the whole way down. She was laughing
she was encouraging you to speed.
She was laughing all the way when I was speeding, and she
So
just has that way.
Well, that showed a sign of immaturity on both of your parts. You thought the truck went fast and you wanted to see how far it could go, how fast it could go. It was exciting to drive fast. Is that what you were saying?
No.
So you weren't encouraging him to speed in the truck?
I don't remember encouraging him to speed. I would not encourage anybody. I had been in 3 prior car accidents. They all been in the rain, and I am very afraid of driving in the rain.
Right?
In fact, before we got in the wreck, about 10 minutes prior to the wreck, I told Michael, you don't know what the sound of crushing metal is like, because he has never been in a car accident.
So while you're sitting in the passenger seat, did you suggest that he slow down?
I don't know. I remember.
Not once, Your Honor.
Not once. But why are you speeding? Even if she suggested it or even she encouraged it, you didn't realize the danger of driving fast in the rain?
I realized the danger, Your Honor. I was just trying to impress her, and she was encouraging me.
Trying to impress her by killing her and yourself?
It wasn't like that.
Never thought about that?
No.
That is a sign of immaturity. Because you're driving 70 miles per hour in the rain? Yeah, you don't do that. That's a death wish. You wanted to die?
No, Your Honor.
So you tore up her truck. And as a result of that, did the marriage go down because you tore up that truck?
Every day after that, she constantly brought it up in my face, said, you wrecked my truck, you wrecked my truck. And then eventually we had our son.
Well, you had insurance. Didn't you have insurance?
I had insurance, Your Honor. My parents had were the registered owners to a vehicle. I had insurance. The vehicle was paid off.
So the insurance company paid you off for the vehicle?
Paid the vehicle off completely.
But the money didn't replace the car,
no,
the
it didn't
truck
replace
that you
the
had worked
effort I
a
put
lifetime.
into. That's what I stressed.
Did it change your attitude toward him after the truck was wrecked?
It did a little, to the effect that I did hold it against him that he wrecked it.
So you held a grudge a little bit?
I did hold a grudge. In fact, I still have my license plate up on my wall.
And you threw it in his face
Oh, I
sometime?
did throw it in his face. I'll admit I threw it.
So as a result,
almost every day.
The relationship went down?
Not the result of that truck. There was other reasons the relationship
What's the other
went down.
reasons?
I moved out in December of '98. We were fighting too much. I couldn't handle it anymore. Him and I would just
fighting? Physically fighting?
Almost every fight, she ended up hitting me. And
every fight she hit you?
Almost every fight, yes.
And they're pushing you out of my way because you were right in my face.
You two young people running around fighting each other physically? Domestic violence? What is that all about?
You
didn't mean that either. You just angry.
No,
you
I
upset.
didn't say that. I didn't mean that.
Oh, you meant that.
I would get up in his face, and we would just start yelling and arguing with each other, and then we would just go from there.
So you start saying bad things to each other, and then the next thing you know, you're hitting and pushing on each other.
Yep.
So that's, again, part of that anger, lack of control.
I wanted out of
Now, you said he was immature. There's another level where both of you were immature. Lack of self-control over your anger.
I'll never admit that I don't have lack of self-control.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're good at admitting things. Now, you're doing something about it? Because while you're still young?
Yes, I am.
You doing something about yours? Because people are going to always do something to upset you. Just keep living. Every time you turn around, somebody's going to either say something or do something or both to upset you. And the response cannot be to hit the other person, to push the other person, to say things that you don't mean that's going to hurt the other person. That is not the proper response. So now you can't replace the truck. That's just a materialistic thing. And when he can never give it back to you. That was, your marriage didn't mean any more to you than that, or it's because of the fighting? The two of you just...
The marriage dwindled. The marriage was dwindling, and it wasn't just due to the truck. The marriage was dwindling, period. It was dwindling. We were not meant to be together, period. When I got pregnant a month into our marriage, we were staying together, not just for the baby, but to see if it would, things would change. I thought maybe after my son was, our child was born, I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl then, after our child was born, things would change.
No,
However,
it just adds more problems and more frustration.
I didn't know
and
that.
more headaches. You got a third party now you have to deal with. It's just more stress, more strain, more self-control you have to exercise, more discipline, because now there's somebody else in there, another factor that adds to the stresses of life.
Now I understand that. At the time, I didn't understand that.
It changes it, but, it
just adds more stress to everything else.
And you got to learn how to deal with it all.
When I came home in December, he was still in the service. For 6 months, we were separate. He'd come down on the weekends. The car my mom had put the down payment on, he totaled that one out also.
He totaled that one too?
Yeah, that one was totaled out also.
Is it paid for?
It wasn't paid for. We were paying into it for about
You were making payments on that?
On that, I was a little.
Did you have insurance on that one?
Yeah.
So did you get reimbursed by the insurance?
The insurance paid the car off.
Again, no money in your hand.
We were just less than a year into the loan.
So the down payment was lost.
The down payment was gone. So
how did you total that one, Mrs. Bremer? Speed again?
No, it wasn't, Your Honor. Just at the wrong place at the wrong time, Your Honor.
Wrong place, wrong time, total the truck?
This was a car.
Okay, wrong place, wrong time, totals a car. How?
Ran a red light, Your Honor.
Wrong place, wrong time. You mean you ran a red light?
Yes, Your Honor.
And somebody hit you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, you were in the wrong place. You shouldn't have been in that intersection, because if you had not run the red light, you wouldn't have been in the intersection. That's what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Remick, I hope that you've learned something in all of these accidents. You've been truly blessed. You're standing there, you didn't get hurt too badly. Is that right?
That's correct.
Have you learned to follow the rules of the road?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
Have you learned that a car is a dangerous weapon?
Yes, I have, Your Honor. And
you could kill and be killed? You still have a license?
No, it's suspended. I'm getting it back, though.
Good. How long is this suspended?
Just until I go to DMV, I can get it back.
Maybe you should wait for a while. What do you need from this court today?
Your Honor, I want to talk about her truck that I wrecked on accident. Just shortly, about 6 months ago, I tried to get her a new truck. It was a '98 Dodge Dakota.
Tried to get her another Dakota?
Yes.
And what happened?
We kept it for about 2 weeks, and I put $200 down on it, and we were going to put a delayed down payment with that other truck as soon as we sold it.
And what happened?
The insurance or the dealership called back and said the finance
company. You didn't qualify?
Exactly. Not 2 minutes after that, I went back in the room and told her that, and she said she wanted a divorce, flat out.
She wanted a
divorce.
divorce?
Out into the cold.
Because the truck didn't go through. So now what you want?
I would like the $200 back that I put on it, that she kept.
Oh, you kept the $200?
Yes.
Your Honor.
After the down payment?
Yes.
Your Honor. Number one.
Did you really say, as soon as he told you that the car
wasn't... No, it wasn't 2 minutes after.
That you didn't, wait a minute. Did you really say after he didn't qualify for another truck that I want a divorce?
It wasn't because of the truck, but yes, I wanted a divorce from him. I was already going to talk to him before they called. I already knew that the vehicle, we weren't going to keep the vehicle. I already had been talking to the dealership. It was his fault we couldn't keep the vehicle. So why did you keep,
so you were just kind of fed up and thinking,
I was already
here
fed up.
We are again, you're immature. We can't even get a new truck, and it's because of you, and I did it on my own at 15, now I'm married to you, I don't need you, I'm out of here.
No.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict. And an update on the case of Jennifer Azevedo Black versus Don Black.
He's been with over 43 different women during our marriage. He was with his mistress the night before we got married.
Divorce court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce court returns as Crystal testifies about why she shouldn't have to repay Stephen the $200 he's seeking.
Why didn't you give him back $200?
I didn't give him the money back because that's money for our baby. That's money for our son. It's not for me. What am I going to do with $200? That's nothing. That's stuff for my son for a couple of weeks.
So the check was sent to you and you kept the check?
The check was written out to me and I kept it.
And you haven't paid any support?
Oh, yes, I have, Your Honor.
$20 a week does not account for anything, Stephen.
All right, child support is one thing. The down payment on the truck is another.
Yeah, we have something worked out for our child support.
That's right.
But
so
until
that's a different issue.
Before the child support has been worked out, I asked him for money for diapers and stuff. He will not give me any money.
Is that true?
I will give her money whenever I can.
Did you give her money before that $200? Did you give her any money for the child after you had separated?
Yes. After we separated,
He's never physically given me cash.
Here's the court's order. Child support is one issue. I'm going to stick to the property issue. You already have a child support agreement. The $200 down payment was a community payment, and you weren't entitled to keep it all. So you're ordered to return $100 to him. That's the court's order. Court's adjourned.
All rise.
When divorce court returns, an update on the case of Jennifer Azevedo Black versus Don Black.
I felt like I was the hoe and she was the pimp.
Now you hurry up and explain that one.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? To appear before a real judge on a new court show, call 877-777-0099. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Jennifer Azevedo Black said her marriage to Don ended because of his numerous affairs.
He was with his mistress the night before we got married. He's been with over 43 different women during our marriage.
Mr. Black, 43 women? How? You don't have enough time.
I felt like I was the hoe and she was the pimp.
Now you hurry up and explain that one.
I was a person who really didn't have all that much. She saw that, okay? So she provided these things, just like a pimp would provide for a hoe.
And you really believe this, huh?
Straight up.
Jennifer said the IRS took her tax refund because Don owed back child support for his child with an ex-girlfriend. The judge ordered Don to pay Jennifer $381. Don says a recent paternity test proved that he is not the father of his ex-girlfriend's child, and he can now devote all of his time and money to the children he has with Jennifer. Jennifer was so pleased with her court experience that she is now going back to school to pursue a law degree, so she's happy to have Don help take care of their daughter.
200, 100, it really ain't nothing, just a week of work, or not even a week, but she has to learn the lesson sometime.
I can do it by myself. I can be a single mom and I can raise my baby by myself and do whatever I want to do.
Crystal, I hope you'll change your attitude and your racial slurs.
I didn't leave you for the truck. I didn't leave you because you couldn't get me the Dakota. I left you because we just didn't care about each other anymore. We weren't in love anymore. So get over it.